Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're all keeping very well. Welcome to this webinar. I am just going to wait a couple more seconds to allow a few stragglers in. They'll probably pop up as the day goes on. Oh, let's get started. My hope is that you can see the agenda for today on the screen. I think first thing to say is thank you very much for joining us. I know your calendars are all extremely busy, so I really appreciate you carving out time to be here. Just a bit of housekeeping. So you will have noticed that by default, you are muted with camera off, which is a real shame, but with kind of meetings of this size, it just makes sense. But we absolutely welcome as much participation in the chat as possible. So my colleague Daniela, who has been really instrumental in kind of bringing this new module together, will be monitoring the chat because the bulk of this session is going to be spent on that new module. So she'll be answering some questions as we go. If there's something that we don't have the answers to, don't worry, because we'll be able to get back to you if there's something that we can't answer in real time. But we do welcome that conversation in the comments. Also, it doesn't have to be a question. We welcome thoughts, feedback on what you're seeing in that chat as well. And just as a heads up, this session is also being recorded for those colleagues who couldn't make it and for those registrants who have expressed an interest in joining. For those who I haven't had the pleasure of speaking to yet, my name is Joe, and I'm here in customer success at Rialtas, which is a relatively new function for us. So over the next 20 to 30 minutes, took about 30 minutes yesterday, I'm going to be talking you through some exciting updates that we've been working on. So here's what we have on deck today. Firstly, we're going to introduce our brand new support chatbot. I'll be talking through how it works, the problems that it solves for you, and how it's going to support you in getting the help that you need. Secondly, I've got a heads up for you on our upcoming customer day, what to expect, why you'll want to be there, how you can get involved, etc. And thirdly, and I'm really excited about this one, like we're showcasing our new meetings module. This has been one of our most requested features, and I think once you'll see it, you'll understand why. So this is really hot off the press. We've actually made some improvements to the software since yesterday, but I'm really looking forward to showing you that. So I will be going through kind of questions at the end, anything we haven't been able to answer as we go along. But as I say, use that chat as we go, and I'll circle back and we can leave a few minutes at the end. But this should take sort of 20 to 30 minutes of your day. So let's dive straight in. I want to start with the chatbot because I think that's going to have the most immediate impact on your day to day. Now, some of you will have noticed this already because it's already live. But an important bit of context, our support team is genuinely awesome. Nothing about what I'm showing you today changes kind of the human touch. What we've built is something to work alongside them, not instead of them. So this is Freddy. He's our new AI support assistant. He's live right now in the customer portal. You'll find him as a little chat bubble in the bottom right-hand corner of the homepage, just like you've got on your screen now. And he's available day or night. No ticket to log, no queue to wait in. And the best part of it is how natural it feels. So you just type your question in exactly as you'd say it out loud, no special phrasing or menus. And Freddie's going to give you a very clear step-by-step answer that's pulled straight from our help articles and manuals, right down to pointing you to the specific guide for your issue. So there's no kind of scrolling to do. If something's still not quite right, he's going to dig into those tricky edge cases with you, and every answer comes with links so you can explore it further if you want to and if you wish. And just to reiterate the kind of key point, Freddie's not a replacement for the team. He's here to get you moving instantly on the questions that have a very clear answer, so that when you do need a real person, our support team can spend their time on the conversations that truly need a human touch, because there's so much AI around, but there's no replacing it sometimes. Okay. So September 15th, a day to keep in your diaries. Um, let's be honest, most kind of customer days, they feel like a glorified product demo. So you're likely to kind of sit through a keynote speech, maybe ask a question in the chat that never gets answered, and then you're likely to leave with a PDF that you never open again. We've tried to build this one a little bit differently. So this is almost a full day, designed to be online, so there's no travel, and it's built around three things that, from your feedback, you've told us that you actually want. So first, you'll see kind of exactly where the product is headed, straight from the people who are building it. So not a teaser slide, a real roadmap walkthrough, and you get to react to it live and tell us exactly what excites you and what doesn't. Secondly, you'll walk away better at using the product. So you may have staff who are brand new who haven't had training with the software yet. We're going to be running hands-on breakout tracks. So whether you're just getting started with the software as that new user or you're already a power user. So there'll be a session built for where you are or where your staff are, not just a one-size-fits-all demo. Thirdly, like you'll be in a room with other people, albeit a virtual room. So real conversations about what's working, what's not, proper roundtables. Like webinars are great for things like this, but for that real kind of human interaction, that's really what we're going for here, to be in that virtual room with other customers to discuss what's working, what's not. You'll hear directly from customers who are doing impressive things with the software. You'll get FaceTime with our product and support leads in Ask Us Anything sessions, not scripted Q&A, actual kind of open mic stuff. So the takeaway is it's one day, it's online, and it's capped at a small group so that the conversations stay real, which means that seats are limited. So if you've ever wanted to shape where the product goes, this is that day. So save your seat now. We'll be sending over a registration form in the coming weeks. So save that day. Okay. Now, this is the bit that's going to take up the majority of the time. Not a massive fan of PowerPoint presentations, and I'm sure you're not either, but I think for context, this is the best place to start. We've been working with town and parish councils for a long time. What I want to show you today is something pretty new. So it's a module we've built specifically to manage the full meeting cycle. So scheduling your agenda right through to your audit reports. And there's one thing that it does that nothing else on the market can do. And I will come to that very shortly. But first of all, the context. So before we kind of get into the product, here is the problem that clerks have described to us over the last kind of year or so. So most of the clerks that I speak to are managing their meeting cycle across a mix of different stuff. So Word documents, spreadsheets, maybe some paper files. And it does work up to a point. But when things go wrong, and things do go wrong, when the auditor comes calling, it can become a real headache. The one that tends to get people the most is the audit thread. So the moment when someone asks, which council decision authorised this particular payment? And you know that you're about to spend an hour kind of cross-referencing minutes and invoices. Hopefully that sounds fairly familiar to you. Again, you use that chat, leave some feedback. What the meetings module is designed to do is manage that whole cycle. So everything we've just discussed, but in one place. You can schedule the meeting, you can build the agenda from a template, you can run the live meeting on a tablet, record decisions, you can record actions as you go, and you come out the other end with a searchable decision log and audit ready reports. And we'll look at that in some detail as we get into the software itself. Okay. The key thing I want you to notice here is that all these 5 steps are connected. It's not 5 separate tools. It's one system with one record running through it. And because it's been built specifically for town and parish councils, all the statutory rules are baked into the software. There's the 3 clear day notice period. You've got threshold. 6-month attendance rule, declarations of interest, and you don't have to like configure that or set it up. While the system is very flexible, it just works. So I said at the start of this that there's one thing the module does that nothing else can, and it's this. Because the meetings module forms part of the Rialtas suite, it connects directly to your accounts. So from a council decision, so say you've got a full council meeting resolving to approve a grounds maintenance contract, you can click through, you can see the purchase orders, the invoices, and the payments it authorized. And from any of those payments, you can jump straight back to the decision that approved it. Now that link goes both ways, so it's a two-way street, and it's live data. So it's not a note that somebody typed in, it's not a PDF reference, it's the actual financial record itself. So as far as we know, no standalone meetings product can do this. And the core of that is the connected account system. So that's really the bread and butter of what this is going to be doing. What that means in practice is that when your auditor asks the question, which decision authorized this payment, your answer goes from potentially several hours of manual searching to just a few seconds and a few clicks. Okay. I think, you know, the question that we've asked a lot is, if your auditor asked you right now what council decision authorized your last big payment, how long would that take you to find? The answer is sometimes up in the hours. So just something to think about. So everything on this slide is live in the product today. You'll see most of it as we go through. So we are making improvements to the software on a daily basis, but all of this is available right now. So you've got the full scheduling and agenda workflow, you've got the recurring meetings, templates, you've got drag and drop items, the agenda PDF, which is generated automatically and emailed to councillors. In the live meeting itself, the system can run on a tablet. It's going to auto-save your minutes as you type. It's going to generate automatic resolution reference numbers, and it can record who is a proposer, who's a seconder, and it will record votes as well. Attendance is tracked in real time. The system will flag anyone approaching the 6-month non-attendance rule. It handles declarations of interest, including the sensitive flag for public documents. And the reporting side, which we'll look at, gives you everything that you'd need for an audit. So decision logs, councillor attendance summaries, the decision to transaction report, and S137 tracking. Okay. So that's the context. Like I say, I don't want to spend too long on slides, but I think it's really important to set that context and show the problem that we were trying to solve with this. So let's get into it. Let's see it actually work. What I'm going to do today is talk you through a kind of a full council meeting. So from scheduling the meeting, building the agenda, running the meeting, recording a financial transaction, and then showing you that decision to payment link in action. So as I say, any questions, put them in the comments as we go through, but let's go ahead and see it in action. Okay, so hopefully you can still see my screen. The first thing you'll notice here is the kind of really clean, really intuitive user interface. So we've designed this with feedback and input from a select group of clerks. And it's been designed with usability front of mind. So I'm using a sandbox account to showcase the new tech. But this is effectively as a dashboard where I would come to see my outstanding actions. So I have my next meeting pretty front and center, which in this case is my full council meeting on the 16th. I have snapshots of my draft agendas. I have pending actions, which are outstanding, delegated decisions, and my spend. Plus, I get a really comprehensive log of actions which are undertaken within the recent activity widget. So what this dashboard is designed to do is to give you that kind of 360-degree view of everything that's going on from a meeting perspective. I've got a couple of options from here. I can open the agenda for the next meeting. I can view all my scheduled meetings, or I can create a brand new one from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a new meeting. Now, what you'll see is there's only a few things which are compulsory here. We've designed the system to be as flexible as possible. I can choose what type of meeting I'm scheduling. I can give it that title, and I can set a date. So let's say the 17th. As I say, it's only really those things which I have to do, but I can also set a time, set location, I can set a category of meeting, and add some description if I wish. So I'm going to go ahead and click create that meeting. So you'll see I am guided really nicely through what I need to do next, which is to build out that agenda, lock the agenda, send invitations to my attendees, and then finally, when we're ready to go, to get that meeting underway. So let's start to follow the prompts and build the agenda for the meeting. You'll see I can automatically add items that are outstanding from the previous meeting. I can actually add items to the template. So for really kind of consistent recurring agenda items, I can save myself time by adding those. And also add them manually as I go. One really useful feature of the software, as you'll notice, is that it will automatically inform me if I'm outside of the 3 clear days deadline for notice. You can set that in your time period. Once I'm happy with the agenda, I can download the agenda to forward or print as I see fit, or I can lock and send. Let's do that now, so you can see how it appears in the calendar. Okay, so what you'll see from here is that we can send them, the system will automatically send out the agenda to the relevant contacts. I am, as you can see, registered as a counselor here. I've just had an alert from my Outlook with an email that's reminding me to RSVP. So I can send apologies. It will also record if there's no response. So that just keeps me tracking who is attending which meeting and when. So let's close that. If I just look at the PDF, I can download that agenda, open it here. As you see, it's relatively sparse because we've just done it for demo purposes, but really, really clean, really easy to understand. One key thing to mention here, obviously we are a sandbox account. So you'll notice we use the Rialtas logo for internal purposes, but at any time through the demonstration where you see that logo, particularly on the paperwork, we can replace it with your council name, your logo, and that's customizable. So whether that's the agenda or the minutes. So that's the agenda locked. Let's take a look at the meeting as it happens and view the functionality within a meeting context. So I'm going to go back to my meetings. This is a calendar view. You'll see that the default is the calendar view, which keeps me on track of what is happening and where. The software can adjust this to a table if I wish. I can also run filters based on the type of meeting to make it really easy to find. I can look at previous or coming months, but let's take a look at an upcoming meeting. So this is the one we did earlier. So this is the meeting DNA that you've already seen because we entered it before, but I want to draw your attention to the invitation responses because this will actually update in real time. I can see that Daniela has very kindly marked herself as attending. So as a user, the experience is I'm prompted to RSVP. So I can confirm attendance, send apologies. The system will automatically recognize when a invitee hasn't responded at all. I can also cancel a meeting from this page, or continue a meeting we've already started. But for this purpose, I will go ahead and hit start the meeting. Okay, so a short agenda, but you'll see I have my agenda items on the left-hand side of the screen. I can set myself as the minute taker. And on the right, I can adjust the attendance status of all the invitees. So note that this is going to impact who can propose or second decisions in real time. So let's just add a couple of folks. There we go. You'll see that automatically adds them to who is present. I can enter my notes in the box. I can enter whatever notes I need to. But if I go ahead and hit record decision and select who a proposer was, I can select who a seconder was, and I can select a category for a decision. So go ahead and record that decision. And you remember me saying earlier that I could tally my votes. Here is where I'm able to do that. So I can hit record vote there. What I can also do is create actions right here on the right, which I will carry forward to the next meeting. Again, select assignees. Okay, so once I'm happy with all my details, we can ensure that the attendance is right, the notes right, we've recorded our votes and resolutions. We can go through all the items and then go ahead and hit finish once we're fully satisfied with the meeting. So you'll see I get a really nice summary of the items that we discussed, the decisions that have been recorded and the actions created. You can generate that same summary PDF with all the new information on it. Again, fully customizable with your details, your logo. So I can go ahead and review my draft minutes. Here I can review various sections and ultimately submit for approval, which will automatically add a minute status, which in this case will be awaiting approval. Okay. Now, what we can do here is look at the really exciting part. So if I go back to my meeting and I look at the decisions, this is the decisions which are linked to the money in both directions. So I touched on this earlier, but because this module is part of the Rialtas suite, it can reach into the council's live financial records. From a meeting decision, a clerk can see the purchase orders, the invoices and the payments that it authorized. And from an invoice, they can jump to the decision that approved it. So again, as far as we know, no standalone meetings product can do this because none of them have a connected account system. So I can drill into this as much as I wish. I can link financial decisions, whether that's purchase, sales, assets, cash book, etc. Okay, so this is the strategic reason that the product exists. So it really complements the Rialtas ecosystem. So you've got meetings, you've got finance, you've got bookings, you've got assets in one platform, and it turns audit compliance into kind of a byproduct of normal work rather than a manual end of year scramble. Every financial decision, as we've seen, carries its spending power, and every payment can be traced back to a resolution reference. So a few other things to touch on. We have a great summary of actions. This keeps us on top of accountable actions. So little traffic light system that shows what's open, what's overdue, and what's due this week. As with most things in the module, you can drill into pretty much any kind of action, and we can change statuses, we can change notes as is required. People tab contains all the kind of staff relevant for meetings. Again, we can drill down into anyone stored in the software. And this is specifically designed to give us attendance insights. So if a councillor hasn't attended a meeting in 3 months, then the row will be amber. And if there's no attendance in 6 months, then they will be in red. So again, just keeping you on top of that attendance. And this is really where the software comes into its own. This is the sort of the payoff. So these are off-the-shelf reports, and these are really the tools that give you the insights that you need to satisfy auditors, to link decisions to spend in a way that no other software can. So if you look at decision logs, for example, there's a lot of sort of test data in there, but this is what is designed to keep the auditor off your back. What we can also do, so these are the reports that exist by default. There's also a convenient kind of transaction lookup on the left-hand side toolbar. So you have the ability to search for things like purchase order numbers, invoice numbers, supplier names, etc. So again, just giving you full insight into the decisions. We operate in Welsh as well. So with a push of a button, that will turn to Welsh. So to bring things together, we've kind of covered 3 updates today. So we've covered Freddy, the new support assistant who's now live in the customer portal, which gives you instant kind of step-by-step answers day or night. You've got a heads up on our upcoming customer day, which means you'll get to dive even deeper with the team. And that kind of draws to and then the meetings module, which we're really excited to show you. Each of these is about the same thing. It's getting you faster kind of access to help, better ways to connect with us, and tools that are going to make your day-to-day easier. So I know we've covered a fair amount in a short space of time. So if we didn't get to your question today, don't worry. We will follow up on anything that we missed. And if you think of something after we finished up here, just drop us a line so you can contact us at sales@rialtas.co.uk, and we will get back to you directly. Really appreciate you joining us this afternoon. It's been a real pleasure walking you through it, and we're really looking forward to hearing what you think. Have a lovely day, and what I'll do there is draw that meeting to a close. If you have any colleagues who want to see this, let us know and we can send a copy over to them as well. So really appreciate your time. Great to see you all. Have a lovely day.